Welcome to the Explainer. Look, if you are feeling totally stuck in your mental health journey right now, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to walk through a really comprehensive guide on navigating the path to interventional psychiatric care. Specifically, we at Community Minds are going to show you exactly how our clinical protocol works for getting a Spravato prescription. We're breaking down the clinical prerequisites, our uncompromising safety protocols, and the actual logistics of getting you right into a treatment chair. So, let's dive right in. So what happens when traditional antidepressants simply stop working? For anyone who's faced severe, persistent depression, you know exactly how incredibly frustrating and honestly exhausting it is when standard pills just fail to give you any real relief. You might literally feel like you've exhausted every standard therapy out there. But when oral medications fail, interventional strategies actually offer alternative biological pathways to target mood regulation. There are advanced options out there, and this explainer is dedicated to showing you exactly how we can bridge the gap between all that frustration and a genuinely viable new path to relief.
To demystify the whole process, here's our roadmap for today. Number 1, is Spravato right for you? Number 2, uncompromising patient safety protocols. 3, our step-by-step approval guide. 4, navigating insurance and costs. And finally, number 5, your actual treatment day experience.
All right, starting with Section 1, is Spravato right for you?
So, the clinical definition of treatment-resistant depression, or TRD, is actually highly specific. To be eligible for this treatment, a candidate has to have a documented diagnosis of major depressive disorder that meets this exact criteria. You must have failed to respond to at least 2 distinct classes of traditional oral antidepressants during your current depressive episode. And we're not just talking about taking a pill for a few days, right? Each of these medication trials has to have been taken at an adequate therapeutic dosage for a solid 6 to 8 weeks. If your current mental health struggle matches this baseline, please know you're not alone, and you're officially in the right place to explore this further.
And that brings us to physiological medical clearance. Because we're looking at a pretty powerful interventional treatment here, our licensed professionals conduct a really thorough assessment during your intake. Basically, individuals with a history of aneurysms, vascular disease, or uncontrolled hypertension are generally excluded. And the reason this matters so much is that the treatment causes transient or temporary blood pressure elevations right after you take it. So ensuring these specific cardiovascular risks are managed is absolutely a non-negotiable first step for your safety.
Now, one of the most reassuring aspects of this clinical pathway is that Spravato can be administered as a highly effective standalone therapy. For patients out there suffering from massive pill fatigue, the folks who are just completely exhausted by the daily routine of oral medications that simply aren't working, this is huge. Depending on your clinical necessity and past trials, this treatment can be tailored directly to your underlying neurological needs as a standalone approach. It stimulates glutamate production and synaptic connection, completely without relying on those daily pill routines you might be really eager to leave behind.
Moving right along to Section 2, uncompromising patient safety protocols.
A really crucial point here is understanding the framework governing this treatment. Because this medication alters your brain chemistry rapidly, the FDA mandates participation in a strict program called REMS. That stands for Risk Evaluation and Mitigation Strategy. Now, don't let the administrative jargon scare you off. Think of REMS not as some bureaucratic hurdle, but honestly as a really comforting safety net. It just means this treatment cannot be dispensed for you to use at home by yourself. It guarantees the medication is only administered within certified, highly monitored healthcare settings by professionals who've undergone rigorous in-person skills verification.
And to ensure the best possible patient outcomes, top-tier clinical environments operate way above the legal bare minimums. Base industry minimums might just give you periodic physical checks every 30 minutes in a standard, kind of sterile exam room with one licensed professional. But at Community Minds, our standard involves continuous direct line-of-sight tracking with automated vital monitors. We use custom, low-stimulus rooms that have dimmable lighting and incredibly comfortable recliners. Plus, we always have multiple licensed psychiatric professionals right there on site. We want you to feel completely cared for and entirely safe during your critical post-administration window.
Okay, Section 3, the step-by-step approval guide.
Here are the 6 exact chronological steps to getting fully approved. And hey, remember, our clinical administrative team is here to do all the heavy lifting for you. Step 1 is a comprehensive initial assessment with an approved psychiatrist just to confirm your diagnosis. Step 2 involves gathering exhaustive pharmacy records to actually prove your past antidepressant trials. Step 3 is that physiological medical screening we mentioned, focusing on your cardiovascular health. Step 4, once you're medically cleared, is getting you enrolled in that REMS safety registry. Step 5 is our team compiling your clinical notes and submitting a formal prior authorization to your insurance. And finally, Step 6 is scheduling your formal appointment calendar, which we call the induction phase.
So what does that look like in real time? Well, the onboarding journey generally spans a pretty predictable 4-week period. Week 1 tackles the evaluation and pulling those pharmacy documents. Week 2 covers the medical screening and REMS enrollment. Week 3 is completely dedicated to the prior authorization submission. And Week 4 is all about scheduling. Knowing this timeline sets really clear, predictable expectations for you so you're never left sitting there wondering what the next step is.
Which brings us to Section 4, Navigating Insurance and Costs. The total cost of your care is essentially divided into 2 separate billing components. The first is the pharmaceutical product itself, the actual medication. The second covers the professional monitoring fees associated with your mandatory observation window in our clinic. Now, the really great news here is that most commercial health insurance providers actually offer coverage routes for this, and our dedicated clinic administrative team handles the whole shebang. We submit the clinical medical notes that clearly demonstrate your history of treatment-resistant depression, all to help establish your out-of-pocket coverage structure.
Finally, Section 5, your treatment day experience. We believe in absolute transparency here. During treatment, the active compound will cause temporary cognitive changes. You might experience transient side effects like brief periods of dissociation, maybe some mild dizziness or nausea, a headache, or that elevated blood pressure we talked about earlier. But what's really reassuring is just how predictable this all is. These symptoms typically peak within the first 40 minutes and fade out pretty quickly while you rest in our low-stimulus environment. And honestly, if a highly distressing event were to occur, our staff is right there with advanced emergency response coordination to manage it instantly.
Now, the absolute most crucial point of treatment day is the 2-hour mandatory post-dose observation window. Every single treatment session requires an absolute submersion in clinical patient care standards for exactly 2 hours. You literally cannot leave early. Our staff will utilize advanced tracking techniques to keep an eye on you, watching closely for any physical signs of sedation or altered perception. It's all about ensuring your safety margins are never ever compromised.
As you're planning your calendar, you should know this is the initial commitment. The induction phase lasts for 4 consecutive weeks. During this block, you're going to attend clinical monitoring sessions twice a week. Yep, that's 2 visits a week with a minimum 2-hour stay each and every time. After those initial 4 weeks, we evaluate your progress to see if we can step down your treatment to a once-a-week schedule.
Before we wrap up, we really have to address the strict behavioral safety rules required after your session. Because of the sedation and altered spatial perception, you are strictly forbidden from operating any motor vehicle, or even riding a bicycle for that matter, for the remainder of the treatment day. Operating heavy machinery or doing any hazardous tasks? Totally out of the question until after a full night of restful sleep. And most importantly, a prearranged driver or a rideshare service absolutely must be confirmed before every single session. We literally will not administer the dose if a safe transit plan hasn't been verified.
Wow, okay, we've covered a lot of ground today. From the clinical definition of treatment-resistant depression to the unparalleled safety standards we uphold at our clinic. The science and the structure are all right here, designed specifically to support long-term recovery for folks who thought they were totally out of options. So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Are you ready to explore a new path to recovery with Community Minds? If you're just exhausted by treatments that don't work and you're seeking a safe, highly regulated, and deeply compassionate environment, it really might be time to take that first step. Reach out to request a specialized psychiatric intake evaluation with us. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and we really look forward to guiding you on your path to relief.